After my last experience, my parents reminded me of another story from my childhood. When you're 5, your mind lacks the experience to make informed judgments or connect things that which aren't obvious. Over the years, the details get fuzzy and forgotten. Speaking with my parents the other day, they cleared the cobwebs burying the story. I remember how much too clearly the story of Gurgles and Bugman. I just started kindergarten that year. Everyone's a friend when you're 5, so I had no shortage of classmates. But coming from a poor family, I didn't get to see much of them outside my school. My parents spent all their hours walking, trying to make ends meet, and didn't have any time to ferry me from house to house. So I spent my early years keeping to myself, playing with the random assortments of knickknacks from the shelves in my room. Being short of money give my family have a habit of hoarding, so they hated to throw anything out. One particular item on the shelf was small, an old-fashioned TV set, wooden vendor box about 2 feet wide by a foot tall, and it had a curved glass screen that took up half of the panel. Besides the screen, it was just a large chrome dial used to switch channels. At the top of the antenna, formed by 2 terribly twisted wires. When my boredom made me turn it on, I'd usually get it to static, and snow now glowing black and white screen. I then twist and clicking every dial, hoping that to pick up some broadcasts. Mostly it would be ghostly images and incoherent and fragments, but one channel was always crystal clear. It was the Gurgles and Bugman show. Gurgles was a clown, not a common one. He wore a thin black suit, draped in all of his tall, skinny body, with a matching tie, oversized novelty clown shoes, and complete in his distinctive outfit. His pupils were completely black and polished ebony marbles, with no trace of white around them. His black face paint around those eyes, and across his cheeks and mouth, it made him look more manic. Grinning skeleton. It was the only crazy thing on the top of the curly hair, sprouting off the sides of his head, that gave him more human-like. As much as Gurgles freaked me out, Bugman scared me even more. He was short and round, like a hunchback dwarf with a red cape. He had prosthetics covering his eyes to make him look like a fly, and had a mouth that was rotated about 90 degrees and open from side to side. The show itself was like the candid camera, with pranks played on unsuspecting people. It would always start with Gurgles and Bugman written away at someone's home. Gurgles would then face the camera, staring at you by pointing his bony finger, touching his lips. When the unsuspecting star of the show came into view, a laugh track you would appear to begin to play, so you would see them go back to their naughty routines. Obvious that the conspiracy that Gurgles and Bugman had involved us in. We'd seen them making dinner in or on the lounge watching TV with their family, or quietly doing their homework. Then watch as Gurgles and Bugman stole their pen, or moved their glass, or made things disappear behind their backs. The camera angles would often change as Gurgles and Bugman shifted from their hiding places in the dark corners of the room, the cupboards, to the ceiling, or under the furniture, all of the while looking back at you and winking. The closer they got, the louder and more laugh they formed the soundtrack. Eventually, when everyone went to sleep, a victim would be chosen for the prank, waiting in the closet or under the bed. Once their victim fell asleep, Bugman would crawl out and gently climb in beside them. His jaw would open sideways and would come sharp straw that he stuck in the person's neck. This always paralyzed the victim, because sometimes you could see them struggle if they wake up and saw Gurgles and Bugman on top of them. The laugh track would be played in extra loud and uproarious these few times as the victims awoke. Gurgles would make faces at the camera while the audience laughed, and Bugman would use his straw to drink the purse from the person's neck. When the victim stopped, struggling after a few seconds. The laughter would turn into claps and cheering. With Bugman finished, Gurgle's face would fill the entire screen as impossibly wide, sharp-toothed grin, and then he whispers, "See you again soon." The way all black eyes perched in front of the screen always gave me chills. I hated that show, but to always be afraid to go near the TV while it's running. One day the TV mysteriously disappeared from my room. My parents told my 5-year-old self that they sold it to pay some bills. I accepted that without a question, and I was kind of glad it was gone. But yesterday when I asked them about the TV again, they exchanged nervous glances, then filled in some missing gaps of my childhood. Halfway through that year, Derek, a classmate I didn't know very well, died in horrific circumstances. He was murdered in his bed with a stab wound to his neck, with no evidence of break-in was ever found. So his distraught parents were taken to custody as the primary suspects. They denied all the allegations against them. At the time, Miss Nolan, my teacher, told her class, I apparently explained to her that Derek couldn't be dead because I saw him and his family on the Gurgles and Bugman show the day before. When Miss Nolan mentioned my parents what I said, they immediately taken the TV from my room, driven to a junkyard, and had burnt it nothing as ashes and molten metal. That TV was in my room because it always has been broken. It was never plugged in the whole time, it sat there myself. Whatever I saw on the screen, it wasn't from a station. So that's my story of Gurgles and Bugman. I'm not sure if it's really the end though. After they're all, do Gurgles and Bugman still perform their naughty show or nightly show for unsuspecting viewer somewhere else in this world? And if so, who will be their next star? Well, my pretties, that was Gurgles and Bugman, a creepypasta written by WontThinkStraight. My final thoughts on the story? This story was definitely a really creepy one. It does have, an interesting concept. And, this is, one of the Reddit pastas, but it's also one of the classic creepypastas that I've seen. So, I really do like the fact that, the protagonist of the story basically just, acts, all, he's all acting, sitting there and just saying stuff along the lines of, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. Basically he went out of his way and the protagonist goes out of their way as a kid and end up sitting there and pretty much, watching this one show on TV. And when they watched on TV, it was just pretty interesting. So the fact that it just sat there and did all that. However, though, I'm just gonna definitely say right now that this honestly, it could have been a pretty interesting. It's a really interesting concept that I seen that. So I'm just gonna sit here and say that this story honestly I can honestly see this being the case, I've seen, weird TV shows playing, at a certain channel or something or a certain station. The part thing right here is, yeah. Yeah, so I could definitely say I really do find this story to have a great concept. But I could definitely say the author of this story did a great job with the concept. It does have good grammar, sentence structuring, storyline. The concept was pretty interesting, I'm not gonna lie. I honestly found the concept to be rather enjoyable. So I definitely gotta say, it's a well-made story. So with that being said, I do think this story actually has a really good potential on being a good one, and it still is. So, like I said, I honestly really do find this story to be, flat out amazing, enjoyable, and pretty good for a concept of this story. Especially with how everything went out, especially with, the whole, basically everything. I honestly can see, this being the case when it comes to, these shows. The show does have, somewhat of a messed up concept. This would probably most likely be from a Goosebumps episode or something. But I mean, a lot of TV shows that gone, horrifically crazy when it comes to certain concepts like this. I mean, yeah, but I can honestly see this more of an adult show. But like I said, I mean, I can honestly see the person seeing it terrifying about it. I have a feeling that, well, Gurgles and Bugmen are probably, I don't know, probably some crazy freaks that, murder people or something. I mean, that could be a pretty possible concept, but who's to say? We're not really sure exactly if that happens to be the case or not. But like I said, and like I said before, I'm not really sure. So I guess all we could just say right now is just, well, we'll just have to wait and see because, it's hard to say what would actually happen. But like I said, this is not a bad story. I actually find this to be a pretty good one. And as like I said, this is my own opinion. You happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas. Simply my own personal thoughts. I give this a 10 out of 10. Pretty good original story, especially for a Reddit pasta. It actually manages to do something new. I know this is like a very older story, and I've seen a lot of people narrate this story and they say it's good, so I thought, you know what, let me give it a go at this one. I definitely gotta say, to the author of the story, amazing work. Awesome work. You did great. Awesome. So, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I'm going to sit here and basically say, what did you guys think about this story? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better. Feel free to leave me what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're new to my channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.